Hello, I'm Sandy Brown. I was born near Strayton in 1896 and I was a shepherd in the Hunter Blair estate around there. When the war started, I joined up and I was soon made a dog handler because of my experience. I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to tell you about how dogs were used in the Great War. The dog you see before you looks like Wolf. Wolf was a German shepherd, or as we call them, Alsatian, who became famous in the Western Front. He was a messenger dog. Messenger dogs were used to carry messages from one part of the battlefield to another. The messages were placed in a small tin hanging from their collar. The advantages of messenger dogs over humans were that they were faster, weren't slowed down by mud, and were harder for the enemy to spot. Unlike carrier pigeons, they could work at night. Dogs were also used to pull light guns and supply carts through difficult terrain. They were a much smaller target than horses or humans. Another use was tracker dogs. Dogs' sense of smell could be used to track the enemy or find explosives or even find wounded soldiers. They were trained to distinguish between dead and wounded men. They carried a first aid kit and saddles which the soldier could use. If the soldier was unconscious, the dogs were trained to bring back some item, his helmet, a handkerchief, to alert officers to his location and perhaps identity. And of course, dogs were used as guard dogs or just as companions. Where did they all come from? Early in the war, Lieutenant Colonel Edwin Richardson created the British War Dog School in Hampshire. About 1,400 dogs were trained there throughout the war. Initially, the dogs sent to Richardson were lost dogs or unclaimed strays. Nothing was to be smaller than an Airedale, no bitches, and the dogs had to be between 18 months and 5 years. Their handlers were recruits who'd been gamekeepers, hunt servants, and shepherds like me. During their training, the dogs were subject to noise, smoke, and gunfire. However, it was discovered that the training could not really replicate the environment the dogs would experience. And so the central kennel at Étable in France was surrounded by bomb pits, and the explosion of bombs was synchronized with feeding time, so the animals would associate the loud noise with food, thus lessening their fear. No official casualty figures were kept for dogs, but hundreds died from shrapnel, landmines or sniper fire. Sad to say, but after the war, many surviving dogs were discarded or euthanized, although a few were smuggled home or officially adopted by soldiers. No dog ever volunteered for service or even knew why their lives were changed. Despite this, they carried out their duties loyally as best they could. That's all we can ask.